All right, so are you ready for this? Today, we're taking a deep dive into testosterone. You know, that hormone we always hear about for masculinity and all that.
Yeah.
But we're going deeper,
Yeah.
deeper than the surface. We want to figure out how to boost testosterone naturally, especially, if you're in your 20s or 30s and you're
Well, yeah,
maybe feeling the effects of modern life, let's say.
absolutely.
So, to help us out with this deep dive, we've got the insights of Dr. Paul Saladino.
He's a big name in the health and wellness world.
He is, and you can find him on his YouTube channel.
Yep.
So what's really caught my eye is this claim that Dr. Saladino's making, that he's 47 and he's got awesome testosterone levels naturally.
Yeah.
No medical help or anything. I'm a little skeptical, I gotta say.
Understandable.
So we're going to break this down and see what's going on.
Definitely. I think it's good to be skeptical, for sure.
Yeah.
There's tons of misinformation out there. We need to understand some things first.
Yeah.
Our modern lifestyle can really mess with testosterone.
Like, what kind of stuff are we talking about?
Oh, your diet, stress, those late nights on your phone.
Yeah, that's most of us, right?
Pretty much, yeah. And if you're always tired or you just can't get motivated,
Oh, yeah.
or you see changes in how you look or feel, low testosterone might be playing a part.
So if you're thinking, okay, maybe my testosterone is low, how would you even know?
A blood test is the easiest way, ideally first thing in the morning.
Oh, okay.
Now, anything under 400 to 500 nanograms per deciliter, that's NGDL, is usually considered low. A healthy range is more like 600 to 800 NGDL, maybe even higher.
So that's the baseline. What about Dr. Saladino? Where's he at?
Well, he's saying his levels are 800 to 900 NGDL.
Wow.
Pretty impressive for his age. He says it's all thanks to his pillars of testosterone. It's a whole lifestyle approach.
All right, let's get into those pillars then. What are we
Now,
talking about here?
The big three are sleep, diet, and keeping those endocrine disruptors at bay.
Endocrine disruptors, what are those?
Think of them like sneaky chemicals messing with your hormones.
Oh,
Things like BPA, in plastics, and phthalates, which they use in fragrances and stuff. They can kind of mimic or block your hormones.
so it's not just what you're eating.
Nope, it's what you're around too.
I hadn't thought about that.
It's a big piece of the puzzle. And this brings us to something interesting about Dr. Saladino.
Okay, what's that?
His views on carbohydrates.
Ooh, yeah, this is what I'm really curious about. Carbs. Are they good? Are they bad? What's the deal?
Well, Dr. Saladino actually thinks certain types of carbs are good.
Really?
He sees them, the right kinds, as a sign of abundance and fertility.
What? So it's like not all carbs are the same.
Exactly. He's all about fruit, honey, and squash.
Honey, I thought sugar was bad for your testosterone.
It's a common myth. Think about it. Our ancestors didn't have refined sugar all the time.
True.
Fruit and honey, those were signs of a good harvest.
Right, like times are good.
Exactly. From an evolutionary perspective, it makes sense. Of course, you don't want to go overboard. Moderation is key.
Right, right. Okay, so what about those other carbs, like white potatoes and grains?
He says to be careful with those.
Oh, okay. Why is that?
Well, white potatoes are part of the nightshade family. Some folks are sensitive to them.
Nightshade.
Yeah, it's a group of plants like tomatoes, peppers,
Oh.
eggplant. They have compounds that can cause inflammation for some people.
Huh.
As for grains, he thinks it's generally better to limit them, at least to start, and see how your body reacts.
Makes sense. This is so interesting. So let's say someone's listening and they're like, my energy is low. Maybe it is my testosterone. What's the first thing they should do? What are the actionable steps?
Sleep. Get 7 to 8 hours of good sleep every night.
Oh, speaking of sleep, Dr. Saladino, he's pretty open about his struggles with it.
He is,
He travels and works late, just like so many of us.
and he's noticed such a difference when he makes himself go to bed earlier.
So it's about trying your best, right?
Yeah, being mindful. And Dr. Saladino really stresses the quality of sleep.
It's not just about the hours.
Right. You can be in bed for 8 hours, but if you're not getting deep sleep, it doesn't do the same thing.
I've definitely had nights like that where I technically got enough sleep, but I wake up and I'm still tired.
Exactly. So think about your routine. What could you change to sleep better? Could you have a relaxing routine, avoid screens before bed, make sure your bedroom is dark and quiet? Even small changes can make a big difference.
It's those little things that add up.
For sure. We're just scratching the surface here, though. We've got lots more to dive into, especially about diet and those endocrine disruptors.
Okay, well, I'm ready for more. Let's talk more about carbs. What's the science behind why Dr. Saladino is so pro-carb?
Let's dig into that, but first, a quick word from our sponsor.
Okay, so we're back and ready to really get into those carb recommendations. You're probably thinking, Why is Dr. Saladino pushing carbs when everyone's saying low carb is the way to go?
Yeah, exactly. I'm still trying to wrap my head around honey being good for testosterone. It's all about how these carbs mess with your hormones.
Right.
Let's take fruit, for example. Fruit has a lot of fructose, right?
Right.
That's a type of sugar, but it's different from glucose, which is in starchy carbs like bread.
Okay, so different sugars, different effects, but how does that affect testosterone?
This is where it gets interesting. Fructose is mostly processed by your liver, and it doesn't spike your blood sugar like glucose does. So insulin doesn't go crazy.
Insulin, right, that's the blood sugar hormone.
Exactly. Now, this is where things get a little tricky.
Uh-oh.
Insulin is super important, but when it's high all the time, it can actually lower testosterone production.
So too much insulin, not enough testosterone.
You got it. Now, Dr. Saladino isn't saying all carbs are bad.
Okay, good.
It's about choosing those lower glycemic carbs, the ones that don't spike your insulin, like fruit, honey, even sweet potatoes. He sees these carbs as a signal, like your body saying, hey, we've got plenty of resources here.
Time to thrive.
Exactly. From an evolutionary point of view, those fruits and honey meant a good harvest. Abundance.
Right, like things are good.
And that probably played a role in keeping hormones balanced. But again, don't go crazy. Moderation is key.
Right, moderation. So what about those endocrine disruptors? We kind of touched on those before, but I want to know more. Those sound like they could be a big problem for testosterone.
Absolutely. These chemicals are like hidden enemies. They're everywhere. And they're messing with our hormones. Remember, they can act like hormones or they can block real hormones. That can really throw your body off.
So it's like they're tricking your body.
Exactly. And the worst part is, they're in so many things we use every day. Like BPA, it's in lots of plastics, food containers, water bottles.
Yeah.
And it can get into your food and drinks, especially when it gets hot.
So even if you're eating healthy, you could still be getting exposed.
Exactly. And it's not just BPA. Phthalates are another big one. Those are in perfumes, lotions, even some plastics to make them softer.
Oh, wow. So like that new car smell, could that be messing with my hormones?
It might be. It's hard to avoid these chemicals completely, but there are ways to reduce your exposure.
Okay, like what? Give us some tips.
Start with BPA-free containers and water bottles. Look for fragrance-free products or ones with natural scents. And just be aware of plastics in general, especially when you're storing or heating food.
So many things to think about. It's crazy how many things can affect testosterone.
Right. And when you put it all together, sleep, diet, managing stress, these endocrine disruptors, it shows how connected our well-being is.
Like a chain reaction, one thing leads to another.
And it all goes back to how our bodies work, hormones included. Speaking of which, let's get back to sleep for a minute.
Okay, yeah.
We talked about quality over quantity, but seriously, those 7 to 8 hours of good sleep are crucial for your testosterone.
I feel it when I don't sleep well, that's for sure. My energy is gone, my mood is all over the place.
Exactly. Dr. Saladino says his energy and everything just got so much better when he started going to bed earlier.
Interesting.
Studies show that even one night of bad sleep can lower testosterone.
Wow, one night.
Yeah. Sleep is important for everything. Muscles, your immune system, your brain.
It's like a reset for your whole body. So what if you just can't sleep well? What can you do?
Well, a lot of people don't realize how important light is. Our bodies have a natural sleep-wake cycle, and light controls it.
Okay, yeah.
When it's dark, your brain makes melatonin, which makes you sleepy. But bright light, especially blue light from screens, that stops melatonin production.
I've totally felt that. Like, I can't sleep after being on my phone.
Right. So dim the lights a couple hours before bed, and no screens for at least an hour before you want to sleep.
What about if you just can't stop thinking? Your mind is racing.
Relaxation techniques are great for that. Deep breathing, meditation, listening to calming music, anything that helps calm your nerves.
I like that. Just create a peaceful mood before bed. Okay, so sleep, diet, endocrine disruptors, anything else we're missing?
One more big one, stress. When you're stressed out all the time, your body pumps out cortisol.
Cortisol, the stress hormone.
And guess what? Cortisol can lower testosterone.
Oh no, not cortisol. We've all been there. So how do you deal with stress? How do you lower cortisol?
First, you got to figure out what's stressing you out.
Right.
Is it work? Relationships. Once you know what it is, then you can figure out how to handle it.
Don't just let stress control you.
Right. Different things work for different people.
Yeah.
Exercise, creative stuff, being in nature. Find what works for you and make it part of your routine.
Self-care, make it a priority.
Exactly. And managing stress doesn't just make you feel better, it helps balance your hormones, including testosterone.
This is all so interesting. It's amazing how connected everything is.
It really is. And what's great is that we have some control over these things. It's not all about genetics or how old you are.
You can make choices to improve your health.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is just the beginning. There's so much more to learn about testosterone, but hopefully this has given you a good starting point.
Definitely. I feel like I've learned so much.
And we're not done yet. We've got one last thought-provoking idea to share. It might change how you think about aging.
Oh, I'm intrigued. But first, a message from our sponsors. We'll be right back. All right, we're back, and I'm ready for that thought-provoking idea. We've talked about sleep, diet, stress, those endocrine disruptors. What else is there?
Well, we've mostly been talking about things outside of ourselves.
Yeah.
But what about what's going on inside? Like your mindset, your beliefs?
Ooh, okay, I hadn't thought about that. How does that tie into testosterone?
Well, think about it. Do you believe that you can feel good and be strong no matter how old you are? Or do you think as you get older, you just decline?
That's a good question. Makes you really think about what you believe, you know?
Right. And our beliefs can actually affect what happens to us.
Really?
Yeah, if you think getting older means getting weaker, you might not even try to stay healthy.
That makes sense, yeah.
But if you believe you can stay strong and energetic, then you're more likely to make good choices.
So it's like what you believe can become reality.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
And this is where it gets really interesting with testosterone.
Oh, okay. How so?
Testosterone isn't just about muscles and stuff.
Oh, right.
It affects your mood, how confident you feel, even how well you think.
So more testosterone, more confidence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when you feel good and confident, you believe in yourself even more, and then you make even better choices. It's a positive cycle.
That's amazing. So it's not just what you do, it's what you believe too.
It's a mind-body connection. So yeah, we've talked about a lot of great stuff in this deep dive. Sleep, diet, avoiding those endocrine disruptors. But honestly, the biggest thing is your mindset. If you don't believe you can change, it's going to be hard.
So you have to believe it to achieve it.
Exactly. So as you work on your health, listen to that voice in your head. If it's saying negative things, challenge it. Believe that you can feel great no matter how old you are.
That's powerful. So it's not just about fixing things on the outside, it's about changing how you think on the inside too.
It's both.
This has been incredible. I've learned so much about testosterone, and it's more than just a hormone, right?
It really is.
It affects everything, your energy, your mood, even how you think about aging.
And what's exciting is you can do something about it.
You have the power to change.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is just the start, though. There's always more to learn. Keep exploring, keep experimenting, see what works for you.
Exactly. Find what makes you feel your best. Well, this has been a fantastic deep dive. Thanks for all the insights.
It's been a pleasure.
And to all our listeners, you have the power to take control of your health. It's never too late to make positive changes. So believe in yourself and create the life you want.